Hey there guys, gals, and non-binary pals, it's DMG and welcome back to Blitz, and today we are going to see some of my own mastery replays in Tier 8 TDs. This one is in the ISU 152. Yes, after dissing this tank so much, I finally decided to give it a go, and I do like it. That being said, I still don't think it's better than the Borsig, but for all that, it is a pretty decent tank, and first we're going to see right now a 43km top speed allows me to get right to the middle of Naval Frontier, the map that we are going to be playing on for our first match. Now, Naval Frontier is one of those maps where if you take the middle, you get some good early shots. As we see here in SU-152, I have enough view range to spot that, despite using a camo net, and I'm able to put in an AP round right across in the front. Now, what you just saw right there, that was the exception, not the norm. The ISU does have quite the bouncy mantlet, but it doesn't cover a very large portion of the tank, so those bounces, I would say, most of them should not have happened. Some very poor aiming or some very good RNG on my part, right? That is nothing that you should expect when playing an ISU, but regardless, LTTB, this is something that you should expect. HE into the back of LTTBs can absolutely wreck them for over 960 damage. I do that there, and then the Tiger 2 finishes them off with its uber accurate gun. Using Supercharge on the ISU is also very, very fun, as I'm able to put in a round into that WZ-110 as he's going right across, able to get a nice 640 alpha roll, or around that, right, across onto the heavy tank. T-34 comes around, and I back up again. Very, very easy shots. This is where the ISU is at its best, or I wouldn't even say at its best, but it's in its environment, right? A very small lane for shooting, because it doesn't have the widest gun arc as compared to the Borsig, right? Borsig has a turret. This does not. But this has the DPM, so if you can keep the targets in front of you, like I'm doing here with the ISU, you can absolutely do well with this. I ended up, after 100 battles, I was 2,650 average damage, roughly around that, and then like mid-70s win rate. So the tank can definitely do good work, but the gun can be quite finicky, and it is quite hard to use sometimes because, when you're traversing the tank on its tracks, the gun bloom is enormous and you have to let the gun aim. I go for AP there. I do think I could have used HE, but the T-43 does have quite the outstanding armor profile for a medium tank, and even in the rear, it does have some decent armor, so I'm not really sure if HE would have done the job there. So I just play it safe, go conservative, and use the AP. Right into the T-34, I recognize that moment to move, and put an AP round right through him. 286 millimeters of penetration at close range into a T-34 hull is pretty much an instant kill if they are a one-shot. There is a very small chance of bouncing. It's just cleaned up now with a 5v2, and I'm able to turn right around. Very, very lucky here. Let the gun aim just for a second, load HE, and press the fire button. Good night, sweetheart, for that T-28 prototype. And now that KV-5 does get spotted on my left, and unfortunately, because this tank does not have a turret, I am unable to get into a position quick enough to where I can end the game with a final HE shot. Looks like the KV-5 is going to be taken out by my teammates. That's okay though, because now we're going to be playing the Borsig. But before I get too far into that, we're going to look at some post-game results. 4,714 damage with 2 destroyed gives us the mastery in the ISU 152 on Naval Frontier. Fantastic stuff there. A real quick note that I wanted to make about sub-replays was that the quality is much better. Thank you for sending them for Tier 6 and above. I want to enforce that again, and you guys have been doing a good job. Sending in Tier 6 and above really shows some better quality replays, because as much as I like watching people pub stomp in the KV1 against noobs, or I wouldn't even say noobs, but just newer players, right? The amount of KV1 replays and the amount of BIS replays and the amount of Stug replays I was getting, it was getting a little bit crazy. Anyways, but thank you for listening. My inbox is a lot, smaller, but it's with better replays. So, more efficient, better content, mutually beneficial for both of us, right? Anyways, I'm playing in the Borsig on Rockfield, and you're going to see in this replay and how it is better than the ISU in the respect that it has a turret, it has camouflage, and while it doesn't have the DPM, it still maintains 640 alpha, and the flexibility of this gun allows it to get shots that the ISU wouldn't. As you can see here, I'm driving up slightly on an incline right there, trying to push my the front of my tank up on that right little rock so I can get my gun down and artificially create gun depression, something that you normally would not be able to do in the Borsig, or in the ISU, simply because the ISU does not have a turret, so it cannot get these kinds of shots. I put a shot into the Centurion and then get a shot into the Ferdinand. This turret allows me to put in all kinds of different shots up here. And with the ISU, you probably need to relocate by this point because you have to poke your front all the way over this hill to get, or this little sniper's perch to get these shots. But the Borsig, you can barely poke over, get your shot across, fire it away, and pull back down. This turret allows for so much more flexibility and so much better. It just creates a better protective nature for the tank destroyer. It can really defend itself, even though it doesn't have a lot of armor, and it prevents it from exposing too much, because the ISU wouldn't get these kinds of shots. I'd have to turn my tank and break camo right there. Not with the Borsig. 640 into the ISU takes it way below its half health mark and puts it in range of a one-shot for many heavies on my team. Fantastic stuff there. I forgot to mention that I am playing with Majime today in the AMX 5100, and she is doing a fantastic job there, but it looks like the IS-8 will start pushing up soon enough on her on the left, right? I don't make the best move here, but like I said, if I was in the ISU, I wouldn't even think about this shot, right? Not necessarily my best move. Didn't realize the gun depression would do that. Have to back off, go forward a little bit, and then hit the shot. Get back just in time. Thank God there wasn't an autoloader or a high rate of fire gun. I get back just in time, and the IS-8 starts gunning for Majime. I prepare another shot, and I need to be able to hopefully track him, set him on fire. Can I get the shot off? I do. Unfortunately, it is not enough to take out that IS-8, and he does get my partner, Majime. I am so sorry about that. Or Majimi. Same difference? I'm not really sure. Sorry about that. I'm just kidding. Anyway. The IS-8 is behind that rock. I just have to play the waiting game. Not what I necessarily want to do right now, as we are considerably down tanks, but I hope he makes a mistake. He gets spotted. He wants to try it again. HE does finish him off. Easy, easy stuff. Easy way to take out the tank. Use HE. Don't have to penetrate. Just as long as you love tap the tank, I'm going to kill it. Go to heat in this moment. Want to guarantee kills now that we are in a down tank situation. I get the kill and it turns into a 2-on-2. I don't really know what this Tortoise is doing, as he wants to go engage the two other tanks over there. And I said, no, please don't do that. You see me say negative in the chat, and then I say, back up. You know, this guy needs to. I can't help this guy here, because the reason why is that if I go and try and help the Tortoise in that moment and they kill him, I'm in a bad position. Or even if I get one shot off, you know, I just have to deal with the tank at close range, the other heavy at close range, and I don't have a lot of HP left. So it's either that guy backs up or I don't help him. That's just the way it is. It goes, right? Not really my fault there. Anyways, that is my fault. Not the best aim shot. It goes right into that red part of the lurver, and I am unable to penetrate. I do get spotted in this moment, but we do have two bases. This is where supremacy really works in my favor. People talk about the ISU having an accurate gun. I disagree. Borsig has a perfectly accurate gun and hits a shot right into the cupola of the Glacial 112. Easy stuff there, right? Borsig has more than an accurate enough gun to get the job done. I'm just saying, right? Anyways, mastery there for 4,600 damage, 3 destroyed, for a fantastic win on Naval Frontier in a bottom tier game, I might add. People always, I wouldn't say they always say this to me, but I've seen this on Bushka's channel a few times, that people would often critique and say that they only showcase replays of when Bushka's top tier. Well, here's another bottom tier game for you, and that's not to diss Bushka at all, but you know, if you guys are interested in seeing how I handle bottom tier matchups, this is how you do it. Being safe, being smart, using your alpha well, especially when you're in a TD, using your HP well, you know, just making sure your fundamentals are on point. Going into the bush immediately. I don't think that they're going this side, but I'm willing to take up this bush originally. I fire a blind shot across just to be safe. No harm in doing so at the beginning of the game. Who knows, I may have hit something. We'll find out later, right? And yes, this is actually before the update drops, so you cannot see whether I hit blind shots or not. I do not think that that is very healthy for the game, and I do hope Wargaming removes those ribbons that will say, you know, enemy hit and stuff like that, because I don't think that that is very fair for players who are trying to play TD roles or people who like to play light tanks, right? Anyways, Borsig, fantastic stuff here. Now, the ISU actually you could argue that the ISU could be a little bit better in this situation. Because as you're far enough back as you won't get spotted either way, and you'd have more DPM to deal with these targets, and definitely more penetration. You have a much better chance of penning. I definitely want to go into that E75 there while I can, as that is quite the difficult target to pen frontally. And I figure while I can get side shots, I might as well take them now. I get very, very lucky here. Well, success is what happens when luck meets opportunity, or something like that, or preparation meets opportunity. I forget, regardless. But you know what I mean, right? I know I mentioned that in another video. Hit that shot on the ISU. I lead it right. I press the button, and it looks like the dispersion on the gun is, like I said, adequate enough to take care of it. That E75 wants to look to the other side. I go for an AP shell, actually, and I pen that right into his turret. That's uncalibrated, by the way. And you're still able to go through the E75 reliably. Now, the Borsig, good stuff here, right? Turret really working at stuff. I'm able to move backwards and forwards while still pointing my gun in the same direction. Or I'm able to move my tank backwards and forwards in a direction different from where my turret is pointing. This makes the Borsig quite lethal in this Yamato position, as the shots wouldn't come as easily for the ISU. I noticed the heavy tanks start rushing back into their spawn, and I want to go engage the ISU on the other team. Now, if you watched me talk about the ISU 152, I mentioned its nasty corners. Now, this is Borsig versus ISU, and you're about to see something very, very dirty come into play. I talked about corners and how they were weak. You can shoot them, but they can't shoot you. Good night, ISU. Corners, very weak. Not fun to be in an ISU in that situation. You can try and hide behind your little mounds of rubble and stuff like that, but it is not an IS-7. It is an ISU 152. Weak corners, easy pens for a Borsig means that ISU 152 is out of the game and didn't really have a chance to begin with. Borsig, another good thing, right? Turrets. Allows you to track targets better. Even though the E75 tries to run away, I don't need to turn my whole tank. It allows me to put a shot right into the KV-4. I wish I could have hit that E75 because now he's turning right towards me. So thank God he fires at the T49, and now it is a 3-on-2 as we engage an E75, a KV-5, and a Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. I need to put a nice HE round to that E75. He needs to go. Thank God he's out of the game. That's a heavy tank that I don't need to deal with, and that T49 hits a shot onto that KV-5, I believe. Or no, or the Waffenträger, just for some splash damage. We're in a very dangerous situation. Pretty much a full health tier 9 tank destroyer and a full health heavy tier 8 heavy against myself on full health and then a T49 at half health. I missed that shot in the KV-5 and I get spotted, giving that KV-5 time to pump across the middle. He doesn't take it at first, but then he decides to go for it. He starts coming out for it. Not really sure what he's going to do here. Sits back in cover. I do pen his cupola with heat. Like I said, guys, Borsig still has more than an accurate gun to get the job done. So don't get all up in arms about the accuracy argument. You know, the Borsig's other traits just make it fantastic. And while the ISU has the extremely high DPM, the Borsig can still reload and take out that KV-5 with ease. He's gone, a full health tier 8 heavy, gone between the two of us, the T49 and myself and the Borsig. Now it's just the Waffenträger left. Now the Waffenträger is smart. He's going to try and take out the T49, but I need to get to that Waffenträger first. The Waffenträger also has a faster reload, so if he does HE me, I am an easy one-roll. I am an easy one-roll with a fire, actually. You know, he does hit me there, and I go right into him with an HE round. Very nice stuff. Right, that gun shield around the gun allows you to get max HE rolls. Good stuff there for 5,021 damage. Now, as I'm saying, the ISU is a good tank. I'm not saying it's bad, but the Borsig, I just believe, is better just for camouflage. You know, more elegant traits that I believe, you know, very good players can exploit further than just raw DPM and penetration, right? But, you know, the ISU, it's not as flexible, but when you set it up right, it is definitely better than the Borsig. But it's just the Borsig appeals to a wider range of situations. If you like that content, please hit that like button and subscribe. More likes, more views, more incentive to produce good content. Thank you for allowing me to share my passion with you today, and I hope to see you next time.